I feel much honored to be invited to give this keynote speech to the International Symposium to celebrate the 140th anniversary of Meiji University. In Japanese history, the Meiji Restoration in 1868 brought to an end the Sakoku or closed-door era and the beginning of modernization premised on combining modern Western advances with traditional Eastern values. In the subsequent epoch of transformation, Meiji University was founded in 1881, first at the Meiji Law School by a group of young lawyers who hoped to foster bright, capable youth who will lead a modern civil society in Japan. Such mission similarly characterized many of the modern universities founded since the turn of the 20th century in the newly transforming Asian countries and societies, including China. As one of the oldest and most prestigious institutions of higher learning in Japan, Meiji University has upheld all along the guiding principles of rights, liberty, independence, and self-government, producing graduates to meet the needs of the times and contribute to the progress of society. Since its founding, Meiji University has already sent out 570,000 graduates in Japan and around the world, with alumni in diverse fields such as politics, business, culture, sports, and the mass media. As we celebrate Meiji University's many achievements and contributions over the last 140 years, it is opportune time to reflect on the mission of universities, especially in Asia, and what an urban university like Meiji University should aim for in future. Asia is rising in the 21st century, as many commentators like to say. In higher education, 12 of the top 50 universities on the QS World University Rankings 2022 are in Asia. Eastern Asia, notably Singapore, China, including Hong Kong, Japan, and the Republic of Korea, now boast prominent clusters of some high-grade universities. Asia has seen a tremendous growth in the number of universities, both public and private, with active government and private sector investment. One obvious reason is that by tradition and culture, Asians particularly value education. At the same time, the rise of Asian higher education is concomitant with the growing affluence and influence of Asia in terms of economic growth and regional modernity on the world scene. Education has become part of soft power. The challenge to the Asians is, what can Asia offer the world by way of its intellectual discourses, scientific and humanistic scholarship, and the Asian experience? How can Asia help enlighten the modern world and enrich human civilization? Will Asia be just producing more of the same of the Western-originated contemporary higher education model, or will it be able to unleash a more critical understanding and practice of higher education, a cultural and epistemological reflection of the role of universities in societies? A university is a community of scholars and researchers who not only create and discover knowledge, but seek to transfer and apply knowledge to the society and the outside world. As the custodians of knowledge, a university should also uphold the long-standing tradition of academic freedom and diversity of thoughts and ideas. As modern knowledge expands exponentially and diversifies into numerous branches, narrow-mindedness and self-centeredness could sometimes lead to unduly rigid academic boundaries in the name of a discipline or subdisciplines that induce insular silos and intellectual dogmas. Under globalization, higher education worldwide is undergoing a process of internationalization, which involves not just the recruitment of international students and faculties, but also the transformation of local or national higher education institutions into global ones, competing actively in international branding and the international ranking game. It has become an industry. Competition and benchmarking are good, but only if within a more holistic and culturally sensitive context. There are also concerns about over-commercialization of education, as well as the marginalization or even erosion of cultural and national identities in the name of internationalization. Hence the tension between the local, regional, and the international, especially with respect to what should constitute international standards and how international scholarship should be defined. For historical reasons, world scholarship has been dominated by Western academia and research, exemplified by the Anglo-American standards in recent decades. But internationalization is not Americanization or Europeanization. Genuine globalization should be grounded in cross-cultural fertilization and mutual learning, so that internationalization does not need to imply the loss of the local identity and legacy. On the contrary, it should encourage the appreciation of diversity and plurality across nations and societies. The vast Asian cultural, social, scientific, and institutional experiences cannot be fully tapped without the understanding of local scholarship and thought expressed in the local language. We must transcend the limitations of understanding Asia through non-Asian academic literature, or only through Western analysis and approaches publishable in mostly Anglo-American-dominated international journals. It is essential for universities and academics to be sensitive to the diversity of intellectual perspectives and avoid any cultural, regional, or disciplinary biases. Otherwise, the kind of scholarship recognized is bound to be from a narrow scope, conditioned by the methods of recognition. There is presently a lack of bridge between Western and Asian scholarship, and between Western modernity and Asian tradition. Also, overcoming the linguistic hurdle in making Asian paradigms and practices more widely available poses a vital challenge. There may well be a clash of civilization and paradigms, but any such clash or tension reflects the reality and should be welcomed as a healthy one to stimulate new insights and perspectives in capturing the full essence of human progress. In the European tradition, universities emerged in the 12th century, emphasizing the core values of academic freedom and autonomy, drawn upon three important institutions of medieval Europe, namely the church, the craft skills, and the tradition of the early professions of law, medicine, and theology. Those pioneer universities had brought about a new renaissance in knowledge, reason, and culture. They had contributed much towards the germination of new ideas and paved the way for the advent of modern European civilization, which subsequently spread to other parts of the world. and other cultures. Values and moral education have continued to be integral to the mission of university and education. Yet, the danger nowadays is that such values of education are easily put aside in the name of search for excellence, or rather, hollow excellence and excellence without a soul, in the words of Harry Lewis, a former dean of Harvard College. In a process of self-reflection, some academic leaders observe that universities have become so focused on imparting knowledge that they have forgotten to impart wisdom. A book published in 1996, The University in Ruins, even argues that with the ascendancy of higher education marketization, culture is no longer seen as an important legitimating reference. Instead of grooming wisdom and ideas, many universities are being pushed towards a functionalist path of qualifications generation and vocational training. Hence, the worry about acquiring skills without a soul. In rediscovering the soul of university, it may be useful to remember how Confucius expounded higher learning. Expressed in modern English, his articulation was this: the way towards great learning involves the formation of high moral character, enlightening the people, and ultimately achieving the ideal realm. Whether in the East or in the West, higher education in its early tradition was about grooming scholar leaders who excel in knowledge and culture, and who would lead society and the world with their virtuous character and high moral values. The mission of university was more to impart wisdom and inculcate values than just knowledge and skills. But that does not deny the importance of making learning within universities more relevant to social and economic needs, which are evolving in tandem with the times. Employers look for transformative skills such as leadership, humility, collaboration, adaptability, and loving to learn and relearn. There is, of course, nothing wrong with aspiring for world-class recognition or attracting internationally renowned scholars. But the future of higher education in any country or city does not depend solely on a few world-class universities or Nobel laureates. Given today's obsession with world rankings and quantitative performance indicators, some of which are methodologically biased, there is a risk of our universities becoming one-dimensional. What defines a great university should ultimately be its transformative capacity. Every nation and every city has its great universities and colleges, which are making an immense impact on national, social, and cultural development, whether or not they excel in terms of those mundane performance indicators used in some international ranking exercises. What is treasured most by the community is that universities produce leaders in all walks of life who form the mainstay within the national and domestic setting, an important dimension seldom captured in world-league tables. The 21st century is a world of cities beyond the previous world order of nation-states. It is forecasted that 85% of humanity some 9 billion people will live in cities by the end of the century. Asia has almost 60% of the world's population and 6 of the world's largest cities. Cities are not just clusters of population and economic productivity. They are also concentration of social problems and disparities. Cities are often testbeds for innovative or even controversial approaches to various problems, including environmental protection, economic growth, social equality, clean energy, education, housing, mobility, health, and elderly needs. At the same time, cities should offer opportunities for well-being and fulfillment. Yet, it is often complained that urban life brings congestion, mental stress, and unhappiness. Against rapid urbanization, sustainability is increasingly an urban challenge. Sustainable urban development is about fostering cities that cater for the long-term health of our human and ecological systems and nurture human potential, using land and resources wisely and facilitating human lifestyles that contribute to global sustainability. Our world has benefited much from rapid technological advancement. Possibilities unimaginable in the past have now become givens. However, a high-tech world is also a rich society. Technology has created new disparities and new vulnerabilities. Nowadays, every city is aspiring to be a smart city, which integrates information and communication technology, ICT, and optimizes the use of the Internet of Things to facilitate interactivity, urban flows, and real-time responses. All very good about enhancing connectivity and a smart living experience. But this is conditional upon innovative technology being used as facilitator rather than barrier, and as promoter of equity rather than a digital divide between the haves and have-nots of high tech. We have also to beware of IT-related risks and hazards, cyber attacks, cyberbullying, fake news, intrusion into personal data and privacy, and so on. Digital monopolies have become more predatory, and artificial intelligence is displacing traditional employment. Can urban universities also lead in coping with these problems created by high technology? In a world that is becoming more embroiled in vicious geopolitics and international conflicts, cities may well be better custodians of human understanding, cultural interplay, and collaborative efforts in facing up major worldwide challenges such as climate change and the pandemic. Regrettably, in the present COVID-19 pandemic, the coronavirus has accelerated and exposed the pre-existing conditions of an already fading international order, not conducive to inter-country and inter-city collaboration. Every country seems to be following its own path, largely ignoring the rest of the world. We have seen rising nationalism, backsliding democracy, declining public trust in authorities, mounting rebellion against the inequalities produced by one-sided globalization, resurgent great power competition, and plummeting international collaboration. Cities should play a more active role in shaping the world's future through the exchange of urban experience, mutual learning in urban governance, and advancing the spirit of civility and cosmopolitanism. Universities with a strong attachment to cities, large or small, have an added mission of transforming the city's outlook and its urban and social landscapes. Their scientific and medical research, as well as their pursuits in the humanities and social sciences, should be application-oriented to help address the many pressing problems and concerns confronted by urban communities. They should bring hope to city governance in partnership with the local community. Their graduates should help to make things happen or change in different urban segments. Again, it is the transformative capacity and impact that enable these universities to be distinct. For a university with a strong historical legacy, like Meiji University, firmly embedded in a major metropolis of a leading country, its contribution certainly goes beyond national development and urban betterment. We can articulate Asian aspirations and make an impact on human advancement in multiple aspects. On this note, I wish Meiji University many more fulfilling years ahead. Thank you.